Hello, I'm Marrieaunna Simmons. I'm a farmer slash gardener slash cosmetologist. This is pretty much what I do at my time. So today I'm going to take you guys on my journey. It all started years ago on my family land. My dad, he is my inspiration. He's the one who I got the farming gardening hand from. I've always watched him do this when I was growing up. I was about 7, 8 years old. I used to remember him buying chickens, buying hogs, buying pigs, buying almost every animal. And, we were eating their eggs and everything, just the whole 9 yards. I remember him doing the gardening, and he used to be the one on the street with the biggest garden. It was just like his thing. So this is what he always done all his life. So as I got older, I realized that I kind of want to take it upon myself, and I kind of want to be the same thing as him, and I kind of want to take it a little bit farther than he took it. So years ago, he used to plant just about every fruit you can imagine. We've always had every tree you can imagine. We've always had a peach tree. We always had a plum tree, a fig tree, a pear tree. We've always had those type of things, but not really, anything already there from sprouting up from the ground. We had to hand do this stuff. So my dad started it out. I remember his chickens getting loose from the pen, and they running towards us and trying to bite at us and stuff. Like, I remember so many stories about that stuff. Or wild hogs getting loose. And I remember one day we was just walking through, and a hog just ran out in front of us, scared the living mess out of us. Like, just those type of things is the type of stuff that we saw on the daily. So it was kind of just like a dream. It's always been that in our life. We've always loved that atmosphere as well, while I always have. So I knew that I wanted to continue it, like a lifelong thing. Even after everyone's gone and I'm still left here on the land, I want to take it as far as I can. So when I got older, I recently got into gardening myself. Last year was my first garden. Actually, I'm 24 years old. I was born January 30th, 2001. I was born at New Albany Baptist Hospital, actually. And I live in Blue Mountain, Mississippi, in a little town called Antioch. That whole street that I live on is really Antioch, Mississippi. It was an Antioch school there, just everything. It's an Antioch church right there. So that's really originally the name for it, is Antioch. But so I started last year on my gardening journey, just on a fun spree. Nothing really too serious. I was just seeing how far I could go with it. I was like, let me just start for fun and, health benefits and stuff, because I already take my health serious, and I knew that being outside and being in the farm is some really great benefits and health towards that. So I started last year. I started planting a couple things. I had to get out there and I had to till the garden up. Basically, that's how I started first, was with a tiller, not a tractor. So it was a time. I had a time using that tiller. I used to get drugged across the yard using that tiller, and I used to be looking at the window and stuff like, I hope nobody's seen that. I hope nobody's seen me get dragged out here through the mud, through the dirt. And so my brother, he was trying to help me, of course, a little bit. He was like, this is how you do it. You got to be firm with it. And so finally, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let you drag me around. I'm going to take handle of you. So I started being more firm and rough with it, and really just using it as I should. And I did. I got better at it. And I was weak at first. I was very weak. Like, I had no muscles to control that thing. Now, it's a different story. It's a whole different story. Now I handle it. But so I was out there. I used to be sweating. I used to be so tired. I used to be out there for 8 hours a day trying to till that ground up and get that ground good enough to plant things. So eventually I got my ground tilled up. I went ahead and started buying all my seeds. I said, just go ahead and buy a few seeds, see what you can plant now, and just see what happens. So I get my seeds from the co-op. It's the best place to get my seeds. I love the co-op back at home in Tipper County. I got my seeds together, gathered them, and I went home and I'm like, look at all these seeds. And people couldn't believe me because they were always like, you're not finna get out there and put in that hard work. You think you're finna be sweating out there and this and that? My family, I knew they didn't believe it. I knew they were like, you're not gonna do it. And I kept telling them, I'm gonna have a garden, you know, I'm gonna have a huge garden. I know they was like, okay, we'll see. So one reason I really tried, my inspiration is my dad, of course, and my grandmother, because they love being outside and love planting and things. So everything started with them. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna show you guys that I can do it, basically. So I got out there, I made sure to put my hard ability to work, and I just kept striving. I got to planning, and then I was like, okay, we'll see if I'm gonna do it or not. So I did it, and I basically went through all my rows that I planted, and I planted about 15 things, maybe 14 things, maybe. Nothing too major like this year. Then I just waited. I got everything planted. I was out there for days because it was taking me so long, because I had long rows. It was taking me so long to get them planted and to cover the dirt up. It would take all day to do that stuff. So I was doing it. I finally got to a stopping point. I would go in the house probably around always 8 p.m. kinda. That was always my going in the house time. And so a couple days I just finally relaxed, and after I planted everything and tilled everything, of course I was so tired I had to relax. I did that, and I waited and seen everything come up, and then I was like, see, I thought y'all said I couldn't do this, and I was running back in the house and bragging and taking pictures and videos, and I was like, look at all this stuff I got planted. And they're like, oh wow, like you gotta have a huge garden, you got all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell y'all that I was gonna do it. So after that, I would go out there, water daily. I have to have my sprinklers going, you know, everything to keep my garden from burning up. I planted last year sunflower, corn. I had one row of corn last year. This year I have two. But I was planting, what else? Cucumber, tomato, pepper, squash, okra. So those were about my crops last year, just a few, not so many. Then I started picking them, of course, every day, because, and you have to go out there every day and pick. If you didn't, stuff would grow like this huge. Your cucumber would be this big, your okra would be this big, and it would be like hard. So you would have to pick them on a timely manner. So I would get out there, sacks full. I go back in the house with like 5 sacks. And my grandma was like, what are you gonna do with all this stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. So I would go home and put them on the tables at home, and my mom would just be like, oh my gosh, you got all that? You got all that? I'm like, yes. So finally I just ended up, you know, selling it to people, giving it away to people, just whatever they wanted to do. I ended up sending sacks full of stuff home with my family members whenever they came over, you know, just spreading the love a little bit, because I know they love the same things that I love, the same vegetables, fruits and stuff. I also had watermelon last year as well. I ended up getting one good watermelon off that. One good watermelon. And I had a pumpkin plant as well. I ended up getting one good pumpkin off of that before it got too cold. I ended up seeing it turn orange. That's really what I wanted. I just wanted to see, could it go that far, and it did. The watermelon too, I remember getting my first watermelon and just being ecstatic, because I'm like, I love watermelon. Like, I've always ate this ever since being a kid. Every year I used to eat watermelon every summer. So I couldn't just imagine me years ago actually planting one and just doing this for a living. I couldn't imagine that. And so I remember bringing my first watermelon in, and everybody just being shocked that I had watermelon out there. Like, we get vegetables, like, okay, that's cool, but watermelon, like, okay, now you're really onto something. So after that, I just knew that you know, something great was gonna be in store after I seen that watermelon. I was like, oh, you can really grow anything now you have to do this. So that's how, after the little summer harvest is when the fall harvest eventually came, and that's when only you could do your green stuff, basically, like your greens, you know, just all the good green stuff. So basically, I ended up planting a lot of greens, and I knew everybody in my family loved greens. I knew that was gonna be a huge turnout. How it blew up though was because I ended up posting my whole summer harvest. I ended up posting that in the fall on Facebook because nobody had any idea that I was doing any of this really, unless I just broadcasted it to the world, and I really wasn't focused on that, so I didn't really too much do that. My time during the summer went to being out there multiple days and multiple hours of days, so I never really just posted anything. So of course when I posted it, everybody's like, what? Like, no way you're doing this. Everybody's just wild. And I ended up telling them that I also have greens for sale. So everybody's ecstatic. Everybody's already coming in, oh, I want a bag, I want a bag. So of course I went out there, and that's when more challenges arose because you had to do the picking all day. You had to pick your bags of greens, and this is not people just wanting one bag. This is people wanting 4 bags of greens or 3, 5 bags, and so you have to get to it and get out there and get to picking. And so my grandmother, of course, she's out there. My dad, they're like, you want me to help you? You want me to pick some for you too? And I'm like, yes, like I would love all the help I could get. And I love them because they always help me the most. And if you don't know them, my dad is Johnny Ray Simmons Jr. He's always been in Blue Mountain, Mississippi his whole life. And my grandmother is Zora Simmons, and she's always been in Blue Mountain her whole life as well. They went to other places, of course, because we have family members in other locations, and they went and stayed years ago before me, but they always relocated back to Tippah County, Mississippi. So I love them. They help me too as well out there, and they do a great job helping me and inspiring me to, you know, get up and get to it and keep going. So yeah, they were out there helping me pick, and I was eventually, at the time I was in a play as well in Ripley. I was in a theater play. So I was in a theater play 7 nights. We had a play 7 nights, and I would have to get out there and pick at the same time this play was going on. Was the same time that I had to pick these greens, the same week, everything, because my family members are coming down from Missouri and stuff to see the play, and they wanted their greens to take back home with them. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already tired from the night before the play, and I got to get out here at like 7 a.m. in the morning and pick these greens, multiple bags at that, because they weren't their only ones. Like, it was people on the street wanting greens too, just everybody. So I had multiple bags to pick. I still have a picture of all the bags on my trailer, and I took a picture of them. Like, I still have all of the memories. But so after that was probably about the biggest turnout I had of people wanting greens and just people very interested in what I had going on. So then my stuff started dying, of course, because it got into the winter season, and which is so depressing. The winter season is just like, oh, now what am I gonna do? Like, what am I going to do in the meantime? I can't go outside, and I can't spend multiple hours out there. What am I gonna do? So the winter season is when you do all your planning, basically. I learned that. It's when you do all your planning, you write down your goals for the springtime, what all you want to do. So I wrote down my goals, and I'm like, you know, just let everything die out there like it's doing in the garden, and I'm gonna write down my goals basically for the springtime. What do I want next year to look like? So I got to that. I started making vision boards. I started writing down in my journal what all I'm gonna have out there this year, what strategies I'm gonna do different than last year. So I got that in motion, and then it eventually became springtime. So that's when that's when it was really a challenge. That's when I had to till all the dead stuff up. So you had sunflowers still standing up dead, but you had to take that tiller and go through that, run straight over it. Like, that was hard. That was probably the hardest part I have, is when everything dies in the winter and you have to come back in the springtime and just start over from scratch. You have to just start over and get everything new for the beginning. Like, it's just like, I don't know, to me it's like a flower that dies and loses its beautifulness and everything, all the color to it just wilts down and everything, and then you have to just bring it back to life. You know, you have to start over, run over it, start over again, start over from scratch. So that's what it kind of puts me in mind of every time it begins to be winter season and springtime, all that. So spring, I got out there and I started tilling. Of course, I'm out there, I'm sweating, I'm hot. And everything got to a point, this is now 2025 year, everything got to a point where I could barely really till over just a lot of items that I had out there because it was so hard. They were deeply rooted in the ground. So what happened was I actually started over twice this year. We started over, and then we ended up using a tractor the second time. So I'm gonna explain. The first time I ended up still planting my rows and putting my seeds in the grass. I went in and bought my seeds from the co-op this year during April, and then I started planting and everything. And so everything started sprouting right after I planted it. I gave it a couple weeks, and I look up and my rows are crooked. Like, I got a row going curved a little bit and a row is kind of straight, and I'm like, oh no, like stuff was running into each other just because of the way I kind of did it. I kind of did it in a rush. I was really rushing. I'm like, no, you said you were gonna be better this year than last year. So that's when my grandmother started giving me the idea of, well, do you want to start over? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not starting over. Like, I was firm on I had my mind made up. I'm not starting over. I'm not doing that. And so I was asking my dad, so what do you think? Do you think I should start over, or what do you think? And he's like, just do what you feel. So I just rested on it for a while, and I eventually was like, you know what? Let's start over. Let's just start from scratch, you know, do it more perfectly this time. Just get it how it's supposed to really be done. Don't just, you know, rush into something and go from there. Like, no, just do what you wanted to do when you wrote down your goals and you said you wanted to be more planned, more organized. Get it in line. So I'm like, you know what? Let's start over. I told my grandmother, she was happy, of course, ecstatic about the decision that I was listening to her. And she was like, okay, so we'll start over. So we done it with a tractor this time, and it was so smooth. Like, the ground was so smooth. It was broke up perfectly. Everything looked great. Like, I didn't even want to touch it. I was like, I don't even want to plant anything because it looks so good out here. So that's when I started planting again. We restarted and we went again. And went and got some more seeds from the co-op. Me and my dad did. We also got tomatoes and peppers so we can transport into the ground. So we got out there, and this was actually last month, May. The beginning of last month, really mid last month, I started planting everything. We're out there multiple days. I think it took us about 2 days to plant everything this time. So I'm thankful for his help, because if I didn't have his help, I would have been out there for a week getting everything planted, because we got like 20 things planted this year. So we got quite a bit. So got out there, started planting. Of course, we didn't go in until about 8 p.m. And then we started the next day, got the last few rows planted, and then went in too late. We have honeydew melon, we have peppers, we have tomatoes, we have okra, we have cucumber, we have squash, I have zucchini, I have cantaloupe, I have watermelon, I have green beans, I have carrots, I have beets, I have 2 rows of corn this year, and I have sunflower as well, and I have cabbage. My sunflower is on my first row because I love for that to be the first thing everybody sees when they pull up, like, because the sunflower, it hides, it's so tall, it hides everything else, so you really can't see until you just walk back there, and everybody just thinks, oh, it's a sunflower field, and then when you go back there, it's beautiful. So that's always been one thing I've always wanted to have in my garden, though, is the sunflower, because I always grew up seeing the sunflower, and I used to love it. Like, my dad, he used to make sure he had some sunflower out there, and every time I used to walk by it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this in my garden. Whenever I have one, I want it. So I end up planting that every year. I'm gonna keep planting that every year. It's just one thing I want to have. So right after we did the planting, basically everything started coming up. And I would say within a couple weeks, probably, everything started sprouting. And I was waiting on it, of course. I'm going out there every day checking on it, trying to see, like, has anything came up yet? Just one little thing. I'm checking every row. But finally, I started to see some stuff because we've been having heavy rain lately, and that's been helping. That's really helped it just shoot off just like that. I would say stuff started coming up 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, just because of that heavy rain we had. And so I get out there and I'm excited. Of course, I'm taking pictures and videos and everything, just trying to document everything, because I document everything from the tilling process, breaking the ground up, from the seeding to the end, you know. So making sure I get all my content and stuff, and then I just chill, wait around. I never have to water anything until most of everything just starts sprouting and coming up. So that's the good thing. You get some time off, you get some rest here and there when you just wait on your fruits of your labor. So I was just chilling around the house, basically doing, you know, hair, cosmetology things that I do as well. And I would go out there every day, and I kept going out there, and lately I've seen everything just come up, sprout up. It's like it all happened at one time. Like, the only thing that's taken a long time is the corn, since corn takes the longest to come up. But I still see a little bit of corn, so I know that I'm gonna have a whole row of it because I've seen some sprout already. But everything else is just blooming. Like the peppers, we have a little bit of pepper buds, and you can see where they're trying to get big. And then tomatoes are blooming. You can see the flower on them, so you know it's gonna be some action there soon. The sunflowers, they're already getting big. That was like the first thing that started sprouting, the sunflower were. And I love that, of course. Everything else is doing it's running its course. The cucumber and stuff. Cucumber is huge as well. And the squash, like the leaves are huge on that. So that was pretty much, that's where I'm at right now with the garden. You know, I went out there yesterday, I watered it, I tilled through the rows and everything, got everything kind of cleaned up how I like it. I normally go out there, pull weeds and stuff too, away from the plants, just keep everything intact. That's normally what I do in the downtime. Or throw some fertilizer out there, Miracle Grow, something. Those are the things that I love to do in the downtime, just so, you know, get a head start on it. And yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now with the gardening season. I'm waiting on everything to sprout, basically, so I have a little bit of time to do my cosmetology things on the side because I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I work for MAC Cosmetics in Tupelo, Mississippi, in Belk. So that's what I do outside of gardening and farming. I also rent out a booth in Ripley, Mississippi, doing hair, makeup, basically the stuff that I do not do in MAC. Yes, so MAC has always been a dream for me. I've always had that thought in the back of my head. I want to work for MAC because my mother, she's a big inspiration for me as well. Her name is Simmons. She's a RN. And what she did was, like, years ago, she always used to shop at MAC. Every MAC lip product, you know, she had this one favorite MAC lip product, everything. So I used to go in the store with her, and I used to see, like, oh my gosh, the people, the workers, the MAC artists, they're wearing all black. And the music is so loud, you can barely hear anything in there. Like, that's just MAC for you. And I was like, this is something I would want to do. I want to work here one day. I said that. And so years passed by. And at that time, I was probably about, I used to be like 10, 11, 12 then. And I was like, I just want to work here. I love the vibe in here. So years passed by, and I end up trying to get a job with MAC. I ended up trying to apply after I went to cosmetology school because my cosmetology journey started in 2022. I went to Foster's Cosmetology College in Ripley, Mississippi. And so I went there for a year. It's a year-long course. I graduated in 2023 and I got my license like immediately after that sometime. So that's where I went to school there. That's how I got the cosmetology experience there. And so right after that is when I decided, after I got my license, oh, I want to work for MAC, I might as well. And now I'm a licensed cosmetologist. This might give me more experience in the door. They might be like, okay, yeah, sure, we would love to hire you. So I kept trying to apply there, and it was a struggle because if you know, you know, like getting into MAC, it's the people that get in there are there for their life, like they're there for the lifelong term. And so it's kind of tricky and hard for other people to get in the door and hired because they already have some of the best artists. So I kept trying to apply, And then I went to the place. My mom was like, you should just go to the mall and just walk in there and see, are they hiring? And I said, you're right. So I walked in and I asked the lady at front, and she's actually my counter manager now, which is so crazy. She's still my counter manager. The lady that I talked to, and I was like, are you guys hiring? And she was like, I don't know, sweetie, you will have to check, online and see if you can find any applications or anything. So I'd done that, and I didn't see anything. And then I kept looking, and finally I seen something about MAC in Tupelo, and I applied. And I think I was waiting for maybe like a year, I would say. I was waiting for the longest, and I was like, oh, they forgot about me. They're not even looking at the application at all. So one random day, I just got like a call from Mac and Tupelo, and they were like, hey, it's this Marrieaunna. We would love for you to come in for an interview. And I'm just like, it's no way. I've been waiting a year for this, I would say like 2 almost. And so I was so ecstatic, and of course I went, and it's turned out to be the best experience so far. I went and pretty much got hired, and they took me through the whole hiring process, everything. And so far I went to Dallas, Texas for training for MAC, everything that you could possibly think of, like I just love it. So that's my experience there. I do makeup on people. I sell makeup to people. I just meet so many people that I have a connection with outside of work as well. So it's just great. Like, it's great. It's everything I could dream of. Me then, I did not know that would really actually happen, but I made sure to manifest it and just keep talking about it, and it really did happen. But at first, it always takes a while, and I was like, oh, they forgot about me. They're not calling me. And then they did. That was the shocking part. They did. So I went from there, and I still work there. I'm part-timer, and I love it. I've been there a year now since all of that. So yeah, that's like, I love my job. I love making women feel good. Anybody, men or women. I love doing hair on the side, lashes, nails, everything you could think of, because I just like empowering people and making them feel beautiful regardless. And then I get to meet people and just hear their stories as well, and it's so interesting because some people I actually have so much in common with, and I'm like, oh, you like that? I do too. Like, you just never would think that. But so that's my cosmetology side. I love it. I will continue doing that probably for the rest of my years, and being a farmer and gardener as well. Like, it's a dream. It brings me so much peace. Both sides do. It brings me a lot. And yeah, I do my family's hair. Now I'm just like the go-to person. I'm the go-to person for everything. Got any plants out there? What can you do my hair tomorrow? Like, it's just great. It's great. But I love being the one now who's kind of in charge, and just being able to, execute my family's needs, basically. So I love that. I love that side as well, because even with the things that I do, it's making them happy as well. Like the gardening especially, everybody they just like, oh, you're the farmer, and I'm like, yes. So basically a lot of people already know me for that, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. So my Facebook is Marrieaunna Simmons, MarrieAunna Simmons. My TikTok is, I'm gonna say the handle for you, BARBIEAUNNA, and that is also my Instagram handle as well. And so those are like my 3 main apps I'm always on. I'm on Snapchat too, but I don't really be on there like every day like any other app. But I sell my items on any social media basically. Last year I sold a lot, but I really never that wasn't my main intention to just, I just want to sell to people, sell my items to people. That wasn't my main intention, but that ended up happening. So now I'm taking it a little bit more serious. I'm gonna end up going to the farmers markets and just, actually broadcasting my stuff way before it gets here, so people can make like pre-sale orders, like, pre-orders and things, just to give me some type of idea of how many stuff I'm going to be selling this year. Because last year I had no idea that it was going to be that big of a turnout that it was. Like, now I might have to have a few extra hands out there helping me pick a lot of things, because last year that was a lot. But I loved it though. I loved the experience, and even though I was a little tired, I'm still grateful for the position that I'm in. So I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'll be tired a million days to do this, because it's something that I made a commitment to, basically. I made a life commitment to this, you know. Now I want this to be a part of my life for as long as I'm living. So, and of course I want to expand, and you know, I want like pumpkin patches, and I want big flower fields and cornfields and more farm equipment, you know. Those are my main goals. Right now, that's kind of in the headspace I'm in. I'm in the process of journaling down everything that I need or want to have out there. That's kind of where I'm at. Even though everything's coming up and I still have to deal with the watering and picking, I still am making more plans for the future.